This is another one that I found. Pilot Officer J.A.J. Davey, pilot, Royal Air Force. He died 11th of August 1940, aged 20. So I'm going to see if I can find some more information, if possible. I will leave a flag, but I'm going to leave it when I come back, so it can be part of it all. And we thank you for your service as well, sir. And we will see you soon, and we will tell your story. This is down at the Isle of Wight Athletics Club track, and we've come down to see a monument to do with the gentleman that we are visiting today. It's in memory of Pilot Officer J.A.J. Davey, RAF, lost his life crash landing nearby on the 11th of the 8th, 1940. One of the few. He actually crash landed down at the golf course, Sandown Golf Course, but we can't get down to that way. But they put a monument here for him as near as possible, which is lovely to see. Yeah, we're right by the Isle of Wight Athletics track, and in by Sandown Base, we call it now. Here we go, we're returning back to Sandown Cemetery today for our Battle of Britain episode. As it's Battle of Britain Day today, I thought a better way to do is to come and visit one of the few. So we're coming to visit Pilot Officer Davey. Pilot Officer John Arthur Joseph Davey, service number 44182, RAF Squadron number 1. He flew the Hurricane P3172. Pilot Officer Davey was born on the 9th of February 1920, the son of Arthur Hammond Davey, 1882 to 1926, and Elsie Marie Davey, 1888 to 1959. John attended Mount St Mary's College in Sheffield from 1930 to 1936. And he joined the RAF as an aircraft apprentice in August 1936 and passed out in July 1939. During his training, he was captain of the first 15 rugby team at Horton and Cosforth. He was awarded a cadetship to the RAF College at Cranwell and began the course there. The scheme was suspended at the outbreak of war, and Pilot Officer Davey remustered as an airman under training pilot. He began his elementary flying training at 9 EFTS ANSI in October 1939. Davey went into the RAF College FTS Cranwell on the 10th of April 1940, with the course completed on the 14th of July 1940. He was granted a permanent commission and joined No. 1 Squadron at Tangmere in Sussex on the 15th. Davey was attached to the North Holt sector training flight and made his maiden flight in a Hurricane on the 19th of July 1940. flying his first operational sortie with number 1 Squadron on the 26th of July. On the 31st of July, he shared the Dornier 17, he was shot down by a Messerschmitt on the 11th of August in 1940. Private Officer Davey was killed when he crashed his Hurricane P-3172 while he was attempting to force landing at Sandown Golf Course. I've also found a paper clipping, but I'm not quite sure what paper it's coming from, but I'll read it. Mr. A.H. Davey, Senior Assistant Master at Leamington College, and Mrs. Davey received a telegram from the Air Council on Monday informing them that their eldest son, Pilot Officer John Arthur Joseph Davey, had lost his life the previous day as a result of air operations. The Air Council expressed their profound sympathy, added the telegram. We would associate ourselves with many others in offering deep sympathy with Mr. and Mrs. Davey in the loss that they have sustained. But in their sorrow, they will probably derive more solace from the letter which has been addressed to them by their son's squadron leader. The officer writes, although your son had been with us only a few weeks, he had shown himself to be quite outstanding. It happened in yesterday's encounter against a German attack on the south coast, when the squadron met a number of German aircraft. He was seen to be in difficulties over the Isle of Wight, where he crashed after attempting to land. He had been hit during the fight, and the fact that he did not manage to jump out shows that fortunately his death was imminent. Here we are. Said we would return. This is Pilot Officer J.A.J. Davey, Royal Air Force, 11th of August. You crash land down at Sandown Airport at the age of 20. Pilot Officer Davey was from 1930 to 1936 at Mount St Mary's College near Sheffield, a school constructed by the Jesuit fathers. He proceeded hence to number 2 School of Technical Training Apprentice RAF at Cosford near Wolverhampton, and in July last year had the distinction of being one of the first 2 apprentices to gain the cadetship to Cranwell. Moreover, he was one of the first 2 filter armourers to secure entry into the RAF's university. He was personally congratulated by Air Vice Marshal Nicholas. After that, officer had taken a general inspection at Cosford. It should have been added that he took 2 of the 3 major awards for Best Fitter Armourer and the Best Educational Subjects. His brother Paul has gone through a similar course of training and is now serving in the Royal Air Force. Incidentally, it should be noted that Pilot Officer Davey was captain of the first rugger team, both at Halton and at Cosford, the RAF training schools. During the 1938-39 season, he was particularly prominent and regarded as one of the best hookers in the Air Force.
The great air battle, which has been in progress over this island for the last few weeks, has recently attained a high intensity. It is too soon to attempt to assign limits either to its scale or to its duration. We must certainly expect that greater efforts will be made by the enemy than any he has put forth. Hostile airfields are still being developed in France and the Low Countries, and the movement of squadrons and material for attacking us is still proceeding. It is quite plain, sir, that Herr Hitler could not admit defeat in his air attack on Great Britain without sustaining most serious injury. If, after all his boastings and blood-curdling threats and lurid accounts trumpeted round the world of the damage he has inflicted, of the vast numbers of our air force he has shot down, so he says, with so little loss to himself, if after tales of the panic-stricken British crushed in their holes, cursing the plutocratic parliament which has led them to such a plight, if after all this his whole air onslaught were forced, after a while, tamely to peter out, the Führer's reputation for veracity of statement might be seriously impugned. We may be sure, therefore, that he will continue, as long as he has the strength to do so, and as long as any preoccupations he may have in respect of the Russian Air Force allow him to do so. On the other hand, the conditions and course of the fighting have so far been favorable to us. I told the House 2 months ago that whereas in France our fighter aircraft were wont to inflict a loss of 2 or 3 to 1 upon the Germans, and in the fighting at Dunkirk, which was a kind of no man's land, a loss of about 3 or 4 to 1, we expected that in an attack on this island we should achieve a larger ratio. This has certainly come true. It must also be remembered that all the enemy machines and pilots which are shot down over our island or over the seas which surround it are either destroyed or captured, whereas a considerable proportion of our machines and also of our pilots are saved and soon again, in many cases, come into action. The gratitude of every home in our island, in our empire, and indeed throughout the world, except in the abodes of the guilty, goes out to the British airmen who, undaunted by odds, unwearied in their constant challenge and mortal danger, are turning the tide of the world war by their prowess and by their devotion. Never in the field of human conflict was so much owed by so many to so few.
Yeah, again, like I showed earlier, we've got Pilot Officer Webster down by this tree, and Pilot Officer Davey is literally right over there in the corner by the trees over there. So they're quite close to each other. So should anybody come to visit them,
out where the old stones sleep in rows, where silence speaks and the cold wind blows, there walks a man with a steady gaze through time-worn paths and forgotten graves. Spitfire Kev with a tale to tell, through mossy ground and chapel bell, he strolls through shadows light in hand, a storyteller across the land. Celtic cross and hallowed ground, history whisper without a sound. Traveling far he walks alone, but every story finds a home. From sacred pews to skies above, there flies the heart heart of all he loves, with wings of flame and boots that tread through time's own halls, where angels dread.